Well, our Fox 5 I-Team investigation into the Atlanta mayor's race and several city council races continues tonight.
Our I-Team followed the money to find that taxpayers spent more than $165,000 in 2017 to send out city council candidates flyers and newsletters. Does anybody read them? Well, senior I-Team reporter Dale Russell is here to tell us who spent the most money. Dale?
Well, Russ, they certainly have a lot to read through when they get these. We've seen a number of these through our open records request. We started out our investigation of taxpayer-funded mailings with mayoral candidates. We found Keisha Lance Bottoms at the top of that, over $40,000 for this big 55-page report and other mailings. And tonight we turn our attention to the council president's race, as well as a number of city council races.
That's over 700 feet of bridge.
When a burning I-85 collapsed in March of this year, there was round-the-clock coverage.
How quick can we repair it?
Of the interstate closing.
Now imagine what that traffic nightmare is going to look like.
Rebuilding.
We have 24-hour staffing out there.
And rerouting.
We are not in a business as usual situation.
The collapse was in Atlanta City Councilman Alex Wan's District 6. And despite the nonstop coverage, he thought Atlanta citizens needed more. So he sent out this taxpayer-funded flyer about a month after the collapse.
I realized there was a whole section of the city that didn't know anything.
Even though Juan represents District 6, he sent the flyer out all over the city. Juan is now running for citywide position of Atlanta City Council president. He told us he asked the ethics officer if it was okay, and Jabu Sengova wrote him that she sees no ethical issues raised. Taxpayers cost more than $34,000. Should the taxpayers pay for it?
Well, I think so. In this situation, I do. I mean, it was an incident, again, an extraordinary incident that happened and impacted the entire city.
Why didn't you get it out immediately following the meeting?
Sarah Henderson of the good government group Common Cause disagrees.
I mean, you know, we look back at the timeline and the bridge was almost finished by the time he got his mailer out. So it looks like campaign literature.
Councilwoman Felicia Moore is also running for city council president, and she says her flyers are different. She says she sent informational notices like movies in the park and a tire drive this year, and twice a year district newsletter. But she says she sends those flyers only to residents in her district, not citywide. Taxpayer cost $19,000. Could help you if you sent it out all over.
Certainly it would help, but that's not something that I think that I should do as a district council member. I want to spend the money in the district that I'm representing.
But Alex Wan and Felicia Moore's mailings are far surpassed by another city council president candidate, C.T. Martin. We found he mailed multiple informational flyers for senior fair, movies in the park, and fight against blight in his district. Then he mailed this recycling flyer. Martin represents District 10, but he mailed it to potential voters all across the city who can't vote for him as a councilman, but could vote for him as a council president. Martin wrote me to say many of his constituents don't follow social media, so flyers are a way to reach them. Don't they deserve to know about services that are available to them? He asked. Total cost for Martin's mailings? More than $56,000.
$56,000. It's just obscene. It's obscene. It's obscene.
We also looked at individual council races and found a wide range. Natalie Archibong, Carla Smith, and Howard Shook all said they didn't mail any flyers. Andre Dickens mailed one flyer for a jazz concert at $960. Ivory Young had one mailing as well. That cost only $889. Joyce Shepard sent out a range of mailings that cost taxpayers about $14,000.
I'm on the board.
Cleta Winslow had a number of mailings, including one for the Civil Rights Museum, in which she told us she was a board member, and a 20-page District 4 update. But she didn't provide us with the cost.
Sir, could you let me go, please?
Well, we send out newsletters on a routine basis.
But the king of city council newsletters is Michael Bott. He says he sent out flyers for 7 years. This year he sent out a number of informational flyers and then 2 different 20-page legislative updates, including this one with 63 pictures of him working, speaking, even playing Santa Claus. There are dozens of pages in here and dozens of color pictures of you. It looks like a campaign flyer.
No, it's not a campaign flyer, and it's in this particular format, which I'm actually proud of, because it's on newsprint. It is the cheapest way to print a newsletter.
Cheap, perhaps, but those newsletters and all those flyers still cost $41,000 of the taxpayers' money.
This is too much. This is way too much. And it's really obscene the way that these candidates are spending taxpayer money to campaign.
Now, we may not be done yet. We were earlier told that another mayoral candidate did not send out any mailings, and we reported what we were told. But some viewers wrote us to say, hey, they got a taxpayer-funded mailing from that candidate. He denies it. We're looking into it and hope to get to the bottom of it all. And Russ Sine, I'll leave you with a lot of reading.
A whole stack of it. You have to imagine some of this could be communicated via email or in some type of consolidated form, maybe a page or two.
It could be, and some of them do. In fact, most of them use email as well as these mailings. These obviously are going to be more expensive.
Most definitely.
Michael Bond says we've accomplished so much over the last few years, not possible to include it all, but 20 pages.
You got a lot of it.
That's a lot. I think your characterization was fair. All right, my friend. Thanks.